We are now officially recording. So we're going to begin tonight's festivities on in orbit above Baklik. It is the Empress's flagship. Ava,
Yes.
Mishka, and Ryan are allowed access into the throne room.
Ah, welcome back.
Mishka bows. Thank you. Smile. We are happy to report that the Huts are on board, as well as the Black Sun. The rain. Let me get my notes.
The
The
graphs,
Pikes.
dude, the
There we go.
graphs.
The Pikes. They haven't fully made up their mind yet, but they're getting there. And I believe.
Is
Go ahead.
there any way we can persuade them?
I don't think that's necessary. And anything that we do might counterproductive. Let's let them watch everything unfold. Decide that a war against the Jedi is winning.
Very well. Do you think that's the correct choice of this course? Then I will advise to your knowledge.
The Huts were very particular in the West. They want their space expanded. They want to make sure that anything that doing doesn't get into their effect. I made assurances that we have no intention of crossing the Jedi. There's no reason why there is among factions.
As long as they don't intend expanding onto my borders, I don't see any issues.
Truthfully, I believe the Huts are more interested in vengeance. Pikes, their rivalry runs. I believe that they'll spend most of their time destroying each other. It's a matter of just waiting, finish each other off, and then go in there and mop up.
True. Only a matter of time before they fall. All it is just a waiting game.
True.
Let's see. Where shall I send you next? Do you have any suggestions?
Not off the top of my head, unless there's any specific thing.
A holocron found, but I have no clue where to even start on that one.
Well, we're not quite the bounty hunt.
How are the pups?
Good, healthy, good. They're a handful.
I can only imagine.
If you need our services, you'll know where to find. Meantime, we're going to continue on to the. Yes.
Did you
Yes.
did you enjoy my gift?
Of course. And I put it to great use. Should have seen their eyes.
I'm glad gift gave you exactly what you was wanting to desire to use with it.
I hear you have a new toy.
Oh, I have many toys.
True. By the way, my condolences also. What's her name? And she the Ryan and Ryan Nova.
David frowned a little, so her name is Nova.
That's something might. Anyway, Ryan had been mentioning great. This is the out. You mind if we how about take maternity leave on the world? Let us see what
I
we
don't
can
mind.
let us see what we can find.
Of course.
She bowed. Ryan will bow. He'll turn and walk out.
And she'll let them leave.
A few minutes later, servants walks in. Your guest is here.
Ah, wonderful. And she'll get up to go greet her guests.
You see, Lady Grafwa. I hope you understand that today, Chris, enormous risk I'm taking, especially your husband so close.
I can assure you, you won't have any issues with him. In fact, I have a present for you. One you could say will strengthen our bond, as in friendship.
It's a little surprise. Eh?
I can. I'm going to give you back what you lost.
Action.
Yes,
Is that possible?
I found a way. Yes,
Oh, she pulls back slightly. What's the cause? Don't think your marriage to Rav missed our reception.
Only your alliance and your friendship is what I request. One I already have.
My alliance. Don't speak for entire apes.
You don't, but it's a good start. And you have your own proud naval fleet, if I'm not mistaken. And I do value you as a friend.
I'm going to assume you want to. Apes command. Sent it to Admirals.
Yes.
So, hear it.
She'll pull out the file and she'll hand it to her.
You'll take it. So, our intelligence that this doesn't add up.
And she'll smile. You really want to know?
You have Mandalorian pirates scouring the outer, sent some of your most loyal out making contact with with additional code to the Republic.
Can you repeat that last one? Line, because I heard a bloop, and which cut you off.
You are contact. How should I? They are having a deep for the Republic.
She'll smirk at that. Well, what happens when you put a whole bunch of people that hate each other in the same room?
That's good. However, curiosity, your real target, people that have invaded Olivon or Public.
To be honest, is anybody that's opposed to stand in my way?
I'll take your idea to the Admiralty, see what they say. However, be surprised they're unwilling to public Jedi. This doesn't seem like a safe strategy.
She'll give a nod with her head. Understandable. Now, let's get you back what you lost.
Curious to see how that we can end the scene. 1 second, I'm still having microphone issues. So testing, testing. 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 All right. Okay. That's going to have to work. All right. I think I. Oh. Now what? There we go. Testing. Testing. Got it. Okay. All right. I think I got it now. So we're going to pick up and we're going to go ahead and pick up on the well, before I transition too much, what I need to know is what do we need to do on Warkinles before we move from this scene?
Well, Tassara and Haj were in the kitchen having an in-between. I don't know if you read it. Tassara was planning sort of like a party to celebrate the fact that Duro and Haj got married and that she's pregnant. But
And
that's
that
something.
Tassara is a freaking Jedi Knight. That party's in there too. Derp.
Yep, true. Thank you. And so, but we could have that party in space. It doesn't happen. It doesn't need to happen on Warkinles.
Okay.
I mean, with the duh on that one, we need to make sure that all the repairs that we had asked for that needed to be updated and repaired and everything else on the outside of the Gungnir, that all the stocks have been resupplied. Like I'm going to put that on the table so it's in canon that all of that has been done past the point of completion and into Superior.
Understood. The Gungnir is fully stocked. Repairs are done. The ship is ready to depart. Let me make sure I get this timeline right here.
Is Handyman repaired and online yet?
Give me 1 second, please. I'm focusing on this one here. So this would be 6. It would be 6030970 would be the date.
Can you post that in text chat by the fire?
I sure can. Nope, sorry. I messed that up. Wait, that's not it. There we go.
Okay. Handyman?
Handyman is well on his way to being... Actually, no, I'm sorry. Handyman is repaired after 2 days.
Okay. That's a good thing. Out of character, who has the compass?
Duro does.
Because I think that Tassara would verify that it's still here in his quarters or wherever it was he left it, and that it didn't get discovered and stolen by anybody that was on the ship during the whole Queen thing.
It did not get stolen.
Excellent.
I can't think of anything else, honestly. I mean, short of, does Tassara take the time while we're either still in port or afterward? Oh no, you delivered the message. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think she would, like to have a discussion with Duro about it. You know, at some point, but it doesn't have to be while they're on Warkinles. It can be while they're in space, either before or after the party.
Cool beans.
So the question to the party is there any reasons why we cannot depart Warkinles? If you're telling me there's no reason, then we're going to depart Warkinles. If you're telling me there's a reason, then we do not depart. That's the question I need answered.
I have no reason to stay.
That's 1 vote.
Same.
2 votes.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
3 votes. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, Duro. All right, so with Cheery at the helm, the Gungnir slowly lifts off of Warkinles and transitions into space. And I will assume the rotation is Duro and Astra. Is there anyone else using their sight ability to help navigate the ship through the chaos?
Yes, Tassara leveled up and she now has a 10 in far seeing, so she can assist.
Okay, so that's Tassara. Cool. So, with Duro only listening, I will have Hodge on the bridge as the deck officer.
All right. What's the current status? Where are we? What are the readouts? Is there anything going on that I should be aware of? Or is she just chilling out up there?
So, who wants to take first navigation? Tassara?
Well, looks
Sure.
like Astra did.
Oh, if Tassara wants it, Tassara can go.
It doesn't really matter to me.
Okay. So we'll put Astra on the bridge with Hodge, Gungir, and Cheery. And the Gungir slips into hyperspace.
Are there anomalous readings? Is there anything beeping that oughtn't to be, or is it just smooth sailing?
No, as you're making the rounds and asking these questions, Cheery is going over the pilot's information, and she turns and looks to you and is like, I'm picking up an unusual power surge.
On your telephone?
No. The hell.
Well, okay, I can see it in your hand, so I just assumed that the surge was there.
Yeah, huh? Science lab.
Science lab. What's the spike? What is it? What's other information that you can give me about what you're seeing?
I'm not entirely sure. My numbers are off.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going through this. I'm like, I just realized my numbers are off on everything. Like, what the heck? I'm gonna have to look at this again.
Okay.
It's weird. And Gungir looks up and is like, well, the captain did order to have all. And she pauses a second. All security devices removed from the private quarters. Handyman is currently undergoing on that project. That's probably what you're sensing. And she'll plug in and, there'll be some, she'll operate her little droid probe into the arm or into the socket, and you can hear it clicking, clicking, clicking.
And while it's clicking, Hodge wants to ask Gunir a question.
Okay.
You said that the captain wanted all of the cameras removed from the private berthing areas.
Yes.
Why would Handyman be disabling the one in the science lab? That was where the energy spike was.
Yes. Where do you think our quarters are?
Ah, understood. My apologies.
Check your senses now, young pilot. She goes back to her boards and is like, running her fingers over, like, oh, it's gone. Huh. It might have been a fluke when he was just deactivating the camera and removing it from this power grid.
Might have been. And she'll sock that information away because that's anomalous for Gungnir. Is there another blip?
Nope.
Is it just cruising right along?
That's well, I mean, it's only seconds after your conversation with Gungnir, so nothing has happened in the transition of those seconds, I assure you.
She sits back and she's sort of leaning back in the chair and her leg is bouncing. And she's got one eye on the Cheery and she's got one eye on Astra. She's got one eye on Gungnir because something doesn't smell right in the state of Denmark.
Give me a spot check.
Oops. There we go. 29.
Okay. You notice that Gungnir's tiny little antenna
Mm-hmm.
is pulsating. It's moving left to right as if she's communicating. You've seen her do this before when she's communicating, using her own internal communication suite.
Mm-hmm. It's moving left to right out into space, across the bridge, or behind her into the ship.
Very subtle movements.
Didn't answer my question.
Well,
You said moving left to right. What direction? North, south, east, west, up, down? Like, help me out here.
it is directed towards the back of the ship.
So that sort of communication would be going through the Gungnir potentially from one end to the other.
Potentially.
Okay. This is how conscious, cognizant. I've never been on the bridge when they've been doing this sort of travel before, so I would not know. What is Astra doing, thinking, feeling, seeing? Is she seated? Is she cross-legged? Is she closed eyes? Is she checked completely out of her body? Like, what's going on there?
So she's at the navigation system. She is in a state of deep meditation. You could literally walk up and smack her in the face with a cream pie, and she would not notice until she came out.
Okay, so she's unavailable as a functioning adult.
Thanks.
You are. And it's what time of day or night in the assumption that people are asleep or awake?
You guys just lifted off, so chances are
So it's
everybody is awake.
okay. She'll clip her comm and she will call on the captain. And the message she sends out at the con is captain to the bridge. Oh. You can type, dude. You don't have to be thinking unless you fell asleep over there.
No, I'm good.
He says, falling asleep.
Right? Anesthesia kicked in.
Yeah.
She will say to him, "Oh, she's got to be outside of Gungnir's." How good is their ability to hear, Mike?
You don't know. You've never really tested that.
she's afraid to step outside, and Duro and Hodge don't have enough of a connection mentally to carry on a conversation telepathically.
Correct.
She'll pull him outside. Oh, damn, I do not want to go outside and close that door.
Maybe someone should call Kasara to the bridge.
Wow. Okay, Tessara, like I'm having an out of context moment there. I do believe there's cold water all over that whole non-ability to.
I know they're like just like throwing a hissy fit. And then, mind you, let me remind you that there is a force skill connected to that. It's not just a air quote connection. So you two can just stare in the silent treatment room.
Wait a minute. Who else is?
I'm waiting for the other one. There it is.
Duro, you broke David. She's in the other room dying right now.
That shit was great. I'm crying.
Duro broke this. What did you do last night? Oh, Duro broke the game.
Go ahead.
The grin at the end, it just kills me. Oh. So she'll I hate this idea.
I love this idea already.
I hate this idea. She'll take him just outside the bridge and close the door.
Yep.
And whisper in his ear, we may be compromised. There may be a stowaway on board. Gunir has been off this evening. It could be nothing, or this afternoon. It could be nothing but a sweep. You and Tessara each take a level and see if my fears are nothing more than my own paranoia.
All right, easily done.
That was all. No drama, I swear.
What exactly has been off with Gungnir?
There was a blip, an energetic anomaly in the science bay. Cheery caught it on the main monitors. And when I asked Cheery to get for further information, she said it was weird and she didn't really know what it was. And Gunir mentioned that you had told Handyman to take down the cameras in the personal areas. I said, that's great. What is he doing in the science area taking down the security cameras? And her response was, where do you think we sleep?
Which is odd, because I was told that there was no way to disable the security systems, and I had decided to just live with it. Seems odd that over a month later he's finally getting around to, oh wait, I guess I can take out the security system.
But is he? I mean, if he told you he didn't, what's he all of a sudden discovered that there was this widget he could press and it would pop off?
And why do it a month later?
Mm-hmm. I begs the question, though, doesn't it? Further, I happened to notice a few minutes ago now that her communication antenna was flickering through the body of the Gunir for reasons that I'm I don't know. And it was shut up. I can hear you, you know. And it was flickering through the ship. It was flickering through the body of the Gungnir. It was real subtle, almost as if she didn't want anybody to see.
Like you said, it may be nothing, but it is worth checking out.
Just a quick sweep.
He will nod, give her a kiss on the cheek, and go find Tassara.
And she'll turn and apparently bump into Gungnir standing in the doorway.
What?
And Hodge turns around and goes back onto the bridge.
Okay.
And apparently when she opens up the door, she bumps into Gungnir.
Gungnir wasn't standing in the doorway, but okay, we can go with that. Is there a problem? Commander Hodge, is there a problem?
Gungnir, I answered you.
And if you did, I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, she answered. I'm sorry. No, there's no problem.
Good. If there's anything else you need, feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to continue running diagnostics on the long-range sensors. The last thing we want is to be surprised by Sith.
Agreed. No, nothing right now, Gungnir. Thank you.
You're welcome. And she'll move to her station. Duro! You easily find Tassara.
She is in the cargo bay practicing with her lightsaber.
Duro will walk up to her and ask, "And how are your exercises going?"
Very well.
All of that old muscle memory coming back.
Absolutely. And those droids that you told me about, I was working with them yesterday. Oof, you weren't kidding. What brings you down here?
Matter of security. Possibly.
She frowns and she puts her lightsaber down, like pointing towards the floor, but doesn't turn it off. Oh?
I was summoned to the bridge. Hodge told me that Gungnir is acting a little off, that there was a power fluctuation in the science bay, and that she was told that Handyman was, at my request, removing the security cameras from the personal quarters, and that the science bay was their personal quarters, the droids.
She frowns. So they think something's wrong with Gungnir?
Well, I had protested the placement of cameras and the fact that they were always on in our private quarters, but I was assured that there was nothing that could be done about it, and that doing something about it would compromise ship security. So I had resolved to just live with it. That was over a month ago. So the caginess and the fact that something is being done now instead of then struck Hodge as a little odd, and frankly myself.
Huh. So are we going to check it out?
Hodge suspects there may be a stowaway on board, so we are going to perform a complete sweep of the ship. You, me, the security droids, and we will, if there is a stowaway, flush them out and find out who they are and what they are doing here.
Why would Gungnir and Handyman want to bring a stowaway aboard? It feels very out of character for them.
I do not know, but I am keeping all options open and under consideration. I am ruling nothing out until we get more information.
That is absolutely wise. All right, so are we breaking up into separate groups to do this?
Hodge had recommended one of us taking each of the decks, but I think it prudent that we stick together and just do a complete sweep of the ship together.
All right, let's go.
That
So
way
she
it's-
does
that way
shut
it's
her
a-
lightsaber down and clips it to her belt and goes to follow him.
Okay. So where are you guys starting first?
Well, I mean, she's in the training area. We can just start right there on the lower deck, work our way up.
Okay.
Yep.
You spend a good 20 minutes searching the training area and the lower decks, which is the vehicle area. Basically the vehicle deck, and you find no evidence of stowaways.
Right, on to the next deck.
Okay. Proceeding up the C2 junction main stairwell, you get up to C deck, the upper cargo area, and you work your way through this area, and you find no evidence of stowaways. This ate up another 45, more space, so it'd be an hour. So you two spent an hour on this deck. You're now at an hour and 45 minutes into your search.
What deck is the lab on?
B deck, which is also the main deck.
Okay, so they're going to head up there next, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you proceed up the B1 junction, which is the forward stairwell. And you guys go ahead and start searching from the cockpit all the way back to the rear of the ship. And within about hour and a half, you find yourselves transitioning from the library, standing in front of the science bay. You are now 3 hours, 15 minutes into your search.
All right, well, they're going to enter the science bay.
It is currently locked.
So Tasok returns to Duro and says, "Do you have a key card that allows you access to any part of the ship as the captain?"
I have my security overrides, which he would be in the process of putting in when he says that.
Duro, these are their private quarters. Are you not going to just simply knock?
It's the science lab. Were they transformed into personal quarters?
That's where Gungnir has always considered his personal space. Nobody ever goes in there, so he's kind of adopted it. It's
Nobody has ever gone in there.
not that I'm aware of, and it's been referenced several times in the game.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Hang on here. Hold up.
Okay, got a flag.
Because The place where they had the chaos medal, I thought that was the science lab.
No, that was done in medical because medical has the isolation wards.
Okay, so then as characters, Tessara and Duro would understand and have long known that this area is where Gungnir and Handyman live.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'll go back in.
All right, well, then Duro will knock, and if there is no answer and the door does not open, then he will use his security override.
Well, within a reasonable amount of time, the door does open and Handyman stands before you. Captain, Tessara, how may I help you?
Okay, one more out of character question. How long did it take to get him online? Is this the first time they've seen him since he was deactivated?
Probably the first time. It took roughly about 2.5 days to get him back online.
It's been a month, though.
No. It's only been a few hours since departing Warkinles.
Oh, I thought we were starting on around Priloc now.
Nope.
Okay, then forget my right. When I said that things were over a month ago, that was because I thought we were approaching Priloc. So, Duro asking about the security system would have been like a week ago at most. I'm not sure how long we were with the Queen, but it was right before we were captured by the Sith.
Yeah, that's okay. I chalked it up as clearly I had misunderstood what the timeline of those conversations.
No, I misunderstood how far ahead we were skipping. Okay. Handyman, it is good to see you up and about.
Thank you, Captain. I heard encouraging communications from everybody on the crew. It was lifting to the spirits.
Yes, I'm sure. Tessara and I are here on a security sweep. There was a power fluctuation detected on the bridge.
I apologize, Captain, for the discrepancy. I was removing the security camera. It was the last one, and I inadvertently tripped the power conduit. It caused a momentary power loop.
Was anything damaged?
Nothing that wasn't quickly repaired. More ego than anything else. I should have known better. You have my apologies.
I see. So what changed? Last I heard, it was impossible to disable the security system.
I believe you might have mischaracterized the conversation. It was impossible out of a security person, not a physical task.
I see. I was accepting of the limitations, so while I appreciate the gesture, it was not something I had explicitly ordered.
And I apologize on my own. I misunderstood what you intended on. Though I am happy to report that all the cameras have been removed.
And that's fine, they can stay removed then. I'm sure the crew would appreciate the extra privacy.
Tessara smiles and nods at that.
Unfortunately, Gungnir and I do not share the sentiments, though we don't have any sense of privacy.
Well, there is nothing stopping you from replacing the camera in your quarters.
There's no reason to single us out.
But if we've all had them removed, it wouldn't be singling you out. You can have the same sort of privacy you've just allowed us.
Precisely. It is your choice as individuals.
Indeed. Is there anything else? I'd like to get back to work.
What are you working on now?
Studies that you had assured me I could do after the situation on Warkinles has been resolved.
I see. Refresh my memory?
Examining the Pac'Cosh.
The Pac'Cosh member of our crew, or some other Pac'Cosh?
Well, I don't believe you would appreciate me killing a member of our crew. Well, technically, he's not a member of the crew yet. He hasn't signed the contract. However, I'm fairly certain you wouldn't appreciate that. No. I was able to procure several specimens for my studies.
Procured how, if you don't mind my asking? He has an eyebrow raised.
I merely commissioned somebody to collect them and bring them back to the ship.
Gugnir, off of the frigate.
There was plenty of time.
I see. As long as you did not lure any living specimens in here with the promise of cupcakes and other delicacies,
That
then all should be well.
that would violate the professor's orders to me to do no harm.
Very good. Then you may proceed. Though I would like your help with something a little later, when you have a moment.
Of course. I will say this, and Thaltanus, the Pac'Cosh are an amazing construct.
How so?
Well, with all the talk of clones and with all the talk of clones going around, I have been digging very deeply into the genome. I don't believe they evolved naturally. That said, I wish to procure some specialized parts. It will require some of the Gungnir's resources, though I don't believe it would, it would affect operations of the ship.
Well, despite your lessons, you still know the ship better than I do. You have my permission to use whatever you need so long as it does not affect ship's day-to-day operations.
Thank you, sir. I will also be utilizing part of the cargo bay for my experiment.
Again, as long as it does not infringe on what it is already being used for.
With your permission, I'd like to utilize starboard cargo hold, and then go ahead and I'll section part of it off.
Just make sure it is secured against the children. It might be an interesting science lesson, but one I would like to ease them into, instead of having them stumble upon it. That's the stuff of nightmares and horror stories.
It is science, Captain Thaltanus. Science is never horror stories or nightmares.
Yeah, tell that to a 6-year-old.
Yes, Handyman, I feel that we do have to be careful. There are children.
Speaking of which, when will I have a chiss subject to examine?
If you are talking of a dead one, then I'm not sure. I don't know when we will find out anything else about their race. I have found out where Cheery and the other children are from, but unfortunately that world is deep in Sith territory, which is somewhere we have agreed not to go. Well, I have agreed not to go. So unless you decide to sojourn there without me, we cannot go check it out.
So that is the only stipulation, is that as long as we have a dead sis, I can examine it.
You meant Chiss? Out of character, do you mean Chiss?
I did.
I am saying a tentative yes. I don't want any unfortunate accidents aboard our ship.
They would be unfortunate.
Handyman,
I know,
hand it to you.
I know you know what I mean.
Kisara?
Handyman, I have to hand it to you. You are a little bit scary. She grins at him.
I am a creature of science. My sole mission in life is to learn all that one can learn. But fear not. I have done extensive examinations into all facets of the human race, or as they call it, edgelords.
Edge Lords. Haven't heard that one in a while.
You would be quite impressed with the scope of my knowledge.
Oh, I'm sure I am. To find the ECD was a shock.
Thank you.
Although, as alarming as it was, it came in extremely helpful. So thank you.
As is all that we do for the crew. It is alarming on the surface, but as you learn to accept the modifications, you learn that they are incredibly helpful.
Handyman, she kind of looks over at Duro and then back at Handyman. Would you be truthful with me if I asked you something?
Of course.
Have there been others, experiments or implants or projects or experiments on ourselves that we are unaware of?
Yes.
What are those?
I'm not at liberty to disclose that information. And you did only ask for honesty for one question.
Then when will I be able to find out that information? Is there a deadline?
No.
She looks over at Duro with a raised eyebrow. Captain Theltanus?
We will talk later, Handyman. You can return to your experiments and we will finish our security sweep.
I have a question for you two.
All right.
I have noticed that organic beings tend to be paranoid at the idea that somebody is studying them, or paranoid that somebody knows something about them that they don't. Please elaborate on this emotional defect.
Tessara actually laughs. Handyman, how would you feel if we busted past you and started looking through all of your things? How would you feel about that?
I don't have emotions. I wouldn't feel a thing.
Well, humans do have emotions, and we have certain things that we like to keep private, that we don't feel as if it's anyone else's business but our own. And having grown up this way, I wouldn't do that to you because I would consider it rude and impertinent. So that's one of the reasons that we feel paranoia, as you said, because to feel that someone knows something about you that you don't know yourself is both a curiosity maker and feels a little uncomfortable.
The volumes I know about each of you, you could barely comprehend. Is this a source of your paranoia as well, or just is it limited only to medical and research purposes?
That's a good question, but you're unwilling to share the information that you've gathered. Why is that?
Because it's not your information.
Ah, see, there it is.
Why do you believe you have a right to my work?
Ah, that's an interesting way of wording it. I don't believe that I have a right to it. If I did, I would be pushing harder and making demands. But I'm not. I'm asking if you would share it with me. Your answer has been no, and I will respect that answer.
But that wasn't your initial reaction. You turned to Captain Thaltanis and expected him to intervene, which he alluded to at a later date. So my question still stands to both of you, he says, shifting his attention to Duro. Explain this emotional defect. It does appear to be affecting the crew.
The need for privacy? Or was there another defect to which you were referring?
I was referring to the defect involving the need to know things about them that isn't their right to know.
Such as experiments possibly performed on them.
Exactly. My mission, as given to me by the professor, is to maintain the crew at peak performance, to ensure that their health comes before all things. Gungnir's mission is to tend to the ship and make sure that the ship is at peak performance and that no harm comes to the ship. The crew, well, their mission derives from you, Captain Thaltanis. When we all tend to our missions, the operation is smooth. However, if this defect is allowed to continue, then I fear that it might cause problems.
You are absolutely right, Handyman. And he will glance at Tassara and say, as you are absolutely right. The thing is, Tassara, you are coming at this from a more, for lack of a better term, civilian perspective. Handyman comes from more of a military perspective. It really just depends on how you look at it. In the Grand Army of the Republic, such things as what Handyman is talking about having done and is doing were par for the course. The clones that I served with especially were heavily bioengineered, and they knew very little of it. It wasn't theirs to know or to worry about. And in a military setting with a strict hierarchy, that is normal and acceptable. To people like you, he looks at Tassara, who grew up outside of the military and never joined any military force, it seems odd, invasive. And it is. But sometimes compromises must be made in order to enhance the efficiency of any group, especially one that is putting themselves in harm's way.
I understand. That actually makes sense to me. She turns back to Handyman. I think my curiosity comes from knowing, is there a way I could better myself by having any of this information? But having said that, I understand I don't have the proper authority to get that information, so I must needs let it go.
Allow me to propose thought experiment for you. And he pauses a second. Tasara, imagine if our newest member of our crew, Frisk, is injured in battle. How am I supposed to repair him without doing experiments on both the living and the dead?
She makes a "you have a good point" face.
Take our resident Hodge, Commander. She is with child. How am I supposed to care for this child without experiments?
Yes, and I know that the professor would not have wanted any harm to come to any of us, including the baby. So I trust you, Handyman.
Well, that's not quite a truthful statement. However, it is not relevant, and I appreciate your trust. And in that, know that my mission to keep the crew as healthy as possible and operating at, how shall I say this, peak performance is my absolute, singular, most important mission, second only by do no harm.
She nods in acknowledgement of that, but doesn't say anything.
As for the experiments, he turns to Captain Thaltanus. If you wish to search for any possible intruders, you may. I have 6 specimens. I assure you they are all without life. However, I am not so concerned about privacy, and he'll step back into the side. Captain, Tasara, you may conclude your search of my quarters.
We were only looking for intruders. We did not intrude on anyone's private space beyond verifying that there were no unauthorized beings in those spaces. So, to that effect, we will do the same with this room. So, out of character, beyond verifying that there are no intruders in this room, they are not snooping around.
Okay, so walking in, he is accurate. There are several beds, and those beds are filled with Pac'Cosh of different, you're pretty sure of different ages based off sizes. You're also pretty sure that there are different sexes based off of physical differences, and there's also minor differences in this color of their scales. You think doesn't look like he's started his experiments yet, but it definitely looks like he's well underway on getting ready to start. And to his point, there are no intruders.
Can Tessara do sense force?
Sure. Roll C-Force.
22.
There is no force users besides Duro in this room. Duro, are you going to resist her C-Force?
Nah, I can practice hiding some other time.
Give me a second. Duro is, and you said 22, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's plus or minus 2 levels above or below you.
We are both level 11.
Yes. But I can only tell you what the skill will tell you. He is within 2 plus or minus 2 levels.
Okay, that's fine.
That's how the skill works.
Out of character, Haj just brought up something interesting. Are there screens? And if so, what is on them?
There are screens.
And what is on them?
A lot of strange, how do I word this? There's a language, but it's nothing you've seen before. In fact, it's probably the only place on the entire ship you've seen this language.
Okay, she'll file it away in her memory.
Mm-hmm. However, on the screens, you can see a great number of... there's one that appears to have different, like... give me an intelligence check, because I don't know Tessara's level as far as it goes on technology.
Ooh, nat 20. So it's a 22.
Okay, well, I mean, this makes perfect sense because Tessara's a healer. She hung out with healers, and she's been around med bays. Looks like kind of like a EKG reading. I mean, it looks like it's monitoring heart rates and all kinds of different activities for individuals.
Is there any movement on those readouts?
Of course, it's monitoring them.
Are there any wires hooked up to those machines that are hooked up to any of the bodies lying on the table?
No. These are screens built to the wall.
Okay.
It's not like a machine moving around. It's literally a machine. You're looking at a screen on the wall.
Okay, so Tessara is going to surreptitiously hold her breath and see if any of those screens react.
Dura, what are you doing while you see Tessara?
Did you not hear me?
I did.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, Dura, what are you doing as you kind of give me a spot check, please?
Well, for the spot check, you gotta hang on. I gotta pull up roll 20. Well, as I already said, Duro was just looking for unauthorized life forms. He may have noticed the screens, but he's not snooping on the screens. Like, his eyes may have glanced over them, but he's not staring at them trying to read them. That's not what he's in there for.
No, I understand.
$23.
So, you may not be snooping, air quotes, but you do notice Sarah is. You notice her kind of hold her breath and notice that one of the screens that Tessara is watching, Tessara, you also notice this, does change. It's a minor change, but it's enough of a change to prove what you're looking for.
Okay, so she exhales and smiles at Duro.
Did you find any intruders?
None whatsoever, Captain Duro Feltennis.
All right, then I say we have disturbed Handyman long enough.
Agreed.
It is never a disturbance. If there's anything else I can do for you or the crew, Captain Thaltanis, please feel free to ask.
I would like to say one thing, Handyman. I'm really glad that you're okay. When I found that you had been shot up by those people, I was upset. And I'm glad to find that you're okay. Gungnir is a magician.
Thank you. I am happy to be functioning again.
I thought you had no emotions, he says with a sly smile.
He turns to face you. It is what organics expect to hear. My programming allows me to speak in more comforting tones, phrases, and pseudonyms so that it makes processing my information to the organics easier.
I see. Well, thank you for your time. You may return to your studies.
Thank
Then he
you.
will nod at Handyman and at Tessara and start leaving the science bay.
And she will follow.
So, where are you guys heading now?
If that was the last place on our list, then he'll just thank Tessara for her help and return to the bridge.
She'll tell him what she saw. I held my breath. One of the screens changed slightly, so those screens are monitoring us, although that's probably something that you already knew.
Well, I made the same observation. That's not surprising.
And you know what? I'm not even mad.
Nor am I.
We'll continue our search then.
Out of character, was that the last stop, or is there more of the ship to search?
Well, that's the last stop for this floor, or this deck. You also have a deck.
Well, if we want to be thorough, we should check the remaining deck.
Agreed.
Then they will go up and check the remaining deck.
Okay. So you guys go through, you check stellar navigation, the upper observation deck, which is Hodge's favorite hangout. You check the A1 junction, which leads up to the main airlock. Emergency cryo chamber 1, 2, and 3. Everything beyond that section is, well, for all intents and purposes, Duro, your quarters that you've never moved into yet.
I thought we had already.
Yeah, they did because they gave Kreese Hodge's old room.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize that happened already. I heard it talked about. I didn't hear it actually happened.
Yep, Hodge referenced it.
Okay.
And we did do a 2-day skip between leaving Warkinles and now, so, they
Fair
had
enough.
time.
So that concludes the tour of the ship.
Woohoo! Well,
Nice.
I will go I will go let Hodge know what we found. Thank you for your help.
Of course. And Tassara returns to the cargo bay to continue practicing unless he wants her for something else.
Nope, she is dismissed and free to go.
Okay, Duro, you arrive on the bridge.
How many hours has it been?
It's been about 3.5.
How long are the shifts that the navigators do?
If I remember correctly, they're 8-hour shifts, right?
No, Duro changed that. It's based on old Earth naval traditions, out of character. It's 4-hour shifts.
Works for
You
me.
do a 4-hour shift, you get a 4-hour break, then another 4-hour shift, and then the rest of the day is yours. You work 8 hours a day, but it's in 2 4-hour shifts. Should cut down a little on the exhaustion.
And with 3 of you able to do it now, it ought to really cut down.
I know, right?
Waiting on you to head back to the bridge, man.
Hey, he's back.
He's on the bridge. I was seeing if Hodge said anything when you walked in, or if she was waiting for him to speak.
Ah. No, she would look up at him.
He would just nod at her. I mean, she did pull him out into the hall to talk to him, so he is not sure what she is avoiding on the bridge.
Fair enough. And she'll just look up and she'll nod back. And she'll check in with Cheery while the captain's on board. On the bridge, rather.
Harry looks over, smiles. She says, pointing to Astra, doing pretty much most of the work.
Fair enough. Have there been any more of those anomalies?
Not that I've noticed.
Just checking. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
I think
And-
Astra's shift should be ending soon.
And she'll look down at the display. Yeah, she's got about half an hour. You want to tag in early?
Not necessarily.
Why don't you look over at Gunyer? And is her antenna still twitching?
No.
Okay. How's your diagnostic running, Gunyer?
All long-range sensors are operating at peak performance.
Good to hear. And the rest of your tests and rest of your diagnostics?
Everything is operating within its specifications. Otherwise, I would have notified the deck officer.
Wanted to give the captain an update. And she'll look up at him again and she'll nod. And you tell there's something just a little off. Something's not right, and it still does nothing. Gunnar right now is sitting right, but she'll look up at him and nod. Thank you, by the way, for going around on that errand for me. Kind of stuck here.
Sorry, who did she say that to? My Wi-Fi dropped out a little bit.
Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, no, she was talking to you. She looked up after an interlude with Gunnar, and she looked up and nodded him, and just give a little strange shake to her head, but minor. And she'll say, "Thank you very much for running that errand for me. I'm kind of stuck here. I'm on duty. I appreciate it."
Of course. Happy to help.
Who is next up on shift anyway after Astra? Is it you or Tessara?
I believe I am watching the bridge, and Tassara is navigating.
Fantastic. I could use a nap.
Yeah, it's a pity we don't have the same 4-hour stretch off.
It'll come back around eventually.
Oh, yes, it will.
The benefits of being able to make the schedule. Hmm?
Indeed. Well, I'm going to go get some tea before my duty shift starts.
All right. I'll see you in about half an hour.
He'll give a little salute and leave the bridge.
Gungnir will turn to Hodge. You realize that if something happens, you are only a short distance from the bridge. You need not be shackled here. Cheery and I can handle things.
I do know that. I appreciate it. I take my duties very seriously.
As you wish.
It's just a quirk I have. I take my responsibilities very serious, Gungnir.
Indeed.
If the conversation is not going to continue with the one-word answers from that one, she's just going to turn her feet around and sit down in front of and get comfortable in front of the display.
Okay. Is there anybody else? I know I have a list of things that Duro's doing, but he's heading to bed, so I can't really do those. That said, is there anybody else that has anything that they need to do?
Like before we break for the night or before we get together again on Saturday?
Oh, no. Before I advance time.
I mean, are we assuming then that the celebration that they were planning for Duro and Hajj and to celebrate Tassara's knighthood and all that stuff has already happened?
It will happen, yes.
Mr. just posted something in the chat.
I see it. So I take that then the answer is no. So I'm going to advance time slightly. It is 1 week later. Astra, you are utilizing your sight ability. Go ahead and make your 5 dice rolls.
Okay. Which ones were they again? I totally forgot.
Intelligence, wisdom, charisma, fortitude, and willpower.
Oh, that's a fail. My intelligence is 6.
Okay. So what were you intending on?
She was she was trying to find out who Thrawn was, because that was dropped by Kreesk's son, that name was.
Okay. So you're trying to control the whirlwind of things going on, and you reach out, you're meditating, you're in your quarters, you're by yourself, and as you continue to go through the threads of the force, you finally get a chance to you finally get a chance to hear something. You follow that voice. It sounds like two women talking, and it doesn't take you long to realize one of the women is Queen. You bring yourself in, and you see her and yourself playing some type of game. Not sure what it is. It's definitely a very complex game. Moving pieces around, tapping a chronometer off to the side. And it's definitely rises up from the table, so it's not a flat game. And you hear the queen say, "Well, the move has been made. What do you think he'll do?" And you hear yourself answer, "I know my master. He'll follow the force." "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm absolutely certain he'll follow the force. I'm taking a big gamble with this. Could cause me discomfort. That's understandable. But, Your Highness, please trust in my master. He will follow the force."
Um,
And the queen finally says, "The die has been cast. It doesn't appear like you and I have any choice but to let's see how this unfolds. In the meantime, I will send Vienna to watch over the developments." The image fades.
so that was something. So I, the player, have no clue what's going on or like what to do. Like, is Astra still in her meditative state, or did she come out of it?
She came out of it.
In that case, she's gonna go find Tassara or Hodge or someone.
You'll find, give me a d6 roll.
Uh-oh. How did that happen? One moment.
You guys are gonna have to give me a second.
A 1.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. You find Hodge.
Hi, Hodge.
Astra?
So I just saw something interesting.
Please elaborate.
So I was trying to use my sight ability and didn't get what I was looking for, but I did get something. The queen and the clone playing a game talking about Duro. At the end of the conversation, the queen said she was going to send it. Out of character, how do you say that name?
Vania.
Vania, thank you. She said the queen said at the end of the conversation that she was going to send Vania to keep an eye on us, essentially.
Could you elaborate on the totality of the conversation between the two? I've found that I have a tendency to think the worst from out of context statements.
It appeared that they were debating what Duro's next move was going to be, and Clone Astra kept saying that he would follow the will of the Force. The Queen responded with something to the effect of, the die's been cast, we just have to wait and see where things fall. She
Okay.
also mentioned she had taken a huge risk that could make her very uncomfortable. I'm guessing the Alliance was the huge risk. It wasn't very much of the conversation. What I did see, I came in the middle of it.
Okay. And then she said that she's sending Vania. You said to here?
To keep an eye on us, it appears.
I find that challenging because we're in hyperspace using navigators off the grid, I think. And they don't know where we're going except to follow the will of the Force. Do we know if Clone Astra knows what our next destination was?
Well, she's better at the sight ability than I am. She probably has an idea. Then again, the Queen has proven she can track us in more ways than one. We had Quinn show up randomly. We had the Queen show up right at the place we were going to be and set up a trap there. So she's got many ways of tracking us. We just don't know what they are.
Okay, that's fair. So what we know right at this moment, based on your vision, is that we can expect Vania wherever it is we're headed next, which we assume is going to be Priloc if one of you guys don't get us lost.
Hopefully, Priloc. I know I won't get us lost. I'm pretty sure I won't anyways. But yeah, hopefully Priloc.
So we can expect Vania at Priloc.
Quite possibly.
Well, the question is, will she make herself known or will she make herself one of the crowd? Did you get any indication whether or not the Queen wants her visible in our line of sight so that we know that the Queen of the Sith is watching us, or if she's going to be keeping a low profile?
From the sense of the conversation, I think she's supposed to act as a spy, follow us and report back. But knowing the Queen and knowing the Sith, there's a good chance she might show up and make our lives difficult.
She's already proven to be a pain in my neck.
Yeah. If I had known she was on this world, I might have warned you about her. No, on our last world, I might have warned you about her. But I didn't know she was out here.
I don't blame you for that, Astra. There's no way you could have known that. That said, I wonder how upset the Queen would be if her lieutenant lost her head. Would that break the treaty?
I think so. Then again, maybe spying on us breaks that.
You'd have to find out from Duro what he negotiated with regards to being spycraft and assassination and, murder, death, kill. How about if we don't just
True.
kill her? How about if we don't kill her? How about if we just rearrange some of her least important? There you go.
Perhaps we should go see if we can tell him.
He is navigating right now.
Well, then I guess we'll
So-
have to tell him when he comes out of it.
Absolutely. And Tassara is also on the bridge, so we could catch up with her.
Good idea.
And we'll head off to the bridge.
Okay.
Yep.
You guys head off to the bridge. You find Tassara. Duro is navigating. Tassara, or Chiri, turns from her station.
There are my ladies. Bored as hell right now. What's up?
Oh, well, this might be entertaining then.
Well,
It's your story, Astra, and she'll just give a wave of her hand.
So I decided to try and use my sight ability. I didn't get the answer I wanted, but I did find something interesting. I ended up stumbling into a conversation between the Queen and my clone in regards to Duro. They were debating what his next move might be. By the end of the debate, the Queen decided she was going to send Venia to keep an eye on us.
okay. Wait. She holds up her hand. One thing at a time. First of all, your clone. Was she all right? Did she look like she'd been hurt at all?
They were playing a game, so
That doesn't answer my question, darling. She smiled. Did she have any physical signs of any injuries?
does Astra
May
remember
have to answer
that?
that.
Yeah.
No.
No, she seemed fine.
You see Tassara exhale a little bit in relief, and then she nods and goes, okay, so she was playing a game with the Queen. Sorry, out of character. I've been coughing for like the last 3 minutes and my voice is scratchy, so you'll have to forgive that. So she was playing a game with the Queen, and they were discussing something about Duro, right?
Yes.
And something about that he would follow the Force. Is that what you said?
I don't remember telling you that.
Okay, that's the player's problem. Again, I was coughing like a hyena. So can you repeat what you said? And I'll have to pull that back.
They were playing a game and discussing what they thought Duro's next move would be.
Thank you. So what his next move would be? I mean,
What he would do next, now that he's made a deal with her, I'm guessing. I came in mid-conversation, so...
and what did they say the options were?
They didn't. My clone just responded with, he will follow the will of the Force, and the Queen questioned that. Because apparently this deal that's been made possibly puts her in a very uncomfortable situation.
Well, she's got him pinned on that one. He would follow the Force. Absolutely. As far as out of character, you said did you just tell her that she was sending Vania? Did you say anything about that yet? Okay, you did.
Yes.
Okay. As far as Vania following us, I would have been absolutely stunned if we hadn't been being followed. I wouldn't even have put it past them to put some kind of tracker on the Gungnir. I mean, I trust Handyman and Gungnir themselves to have discovered such a thing.
Oh, they
But I mean, as far as an uncomfortable position, well, yeah. I mean, the queen is likely allied herself with other people other than us. So, knowing her, there's a good chance that she made alliances with others. And if she has an alliance with Duro and an alliance with an enemy of Duro's, that puts her in an uncomfortable position. Of course, that's a leap of logic that I'm making.
Forgive me,
True.
but A, enemy of Duro, and B, why would they be out here?
It could be the Who that she's concerned with. They really don't like Force users.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of, actually.
One of them picked me up and choked me because I made statements that they did not like.
What did you do to him?
I asked them if it was possible for them to be tricked. They didn't like that.
So what did you do when he started to choke you?
Reminded him that he'd be in trouble with the queen, and he dropped me, and Sith came to my rescue. But anyways, they could be the reason she's in an uncomfortable position because they really dislike Force users.
So she looks over at Haj. So honestly, that's the only one I could think of. A good point about them being way out here.
So she would be concerned that the Who would come after Duro and try and put a stop to it, or that she's made an alliance with them, especially since they're working on her ship for her, which I don't understand, but we'll put a pin in that.
Right.
I think
Kind of-
he's some kind of god.
I mean,
So they don't like Force users, but they're okay with gods?
Yep.
I could be God.
Oh my goodness.
and a damn powerful one too. But that aside, I mean, not that you wouldn't be an amazing god, Haj, but I mean, if the Who don't like Force users, and she's just made an alliance with one, and they find out about it, they could do some serious damage to whatever she's got. Like if they're working for her, they could just up and leave, or worse, they could revolt.
Oh,
So
that would be so bad.
They already know about the alliance, and she's got Sith aboard her ships and within her ranks as well that are also Force users.
So then the truth of the matter
Yeah.
is that the Who is a non-threat because she's got them in the palm of her hand.
Yeah.
I mean, if they think she's a god, then all we have to do is convince any of the Who that come up against us that we're all gods and that this is heaven, and problem solved.
I like the way you think.
Sounds like a fun plan. We all get
Well, I mean-
promoted. We all get promoted, and then we've got a whole bunch of Who bowing down to us, and hey, this is a win-win.
Oh my gosh, Raj.
I think the hormones are starting to do something to my brain.
Hormones? What hormones?
Okay, wait a minute. Didn't we say that the party had already happened, or did I miss something?
No, we did not say the party already happened. Michael was will happen.
Why wouldn't we have had it already?
No.
Michael?
So when you guys were leaving Warkinles, I said it will happen. There's no reason why it hadn't happened within the week.
Okay, so Astra knows what's going on with Hodge now?
Yes.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, totally forgot. You're pregnant currently.
And, she's going to start acting like a god.
One does not carry life within one's womb. No, that's just dumb. And she looks right at Astra, who's already been there.
That's true. You're the only one that's been a mother.
Yeah, I don't remember having fun during my pregnancy.
I do have to ask you something, though.
Hmm.
You and Sol were both Jedi, or in training to be same. Both
Yes.
strong Force users.
Yes.
We know Raza, or we assume, I assume, that Raza is also a Force user, given who her parents are, correct?
Every vision I've seen of her of the future, she has had Force abilities.
Okay. My question to you is, did you ever notice an increase in your own connection to the Force, having a life grow within you?
Out of character did Astra, because I have no clue.
Traveler seems to think that that you have the answer to that, Kitty.
No, that was not that was not for that comment. It was for her previous comment before that. So to answer the question, no, Astra did not notice any change in her connection to the Force.
Okay.
No, I didn't. Why do you ask?
Well, since the child is the product of two Force users, in my case, the child is the product of two Force users, and we're currently sharing a blood source, I would have thought that the energetic connection to the Force between each other would also be shared and therefore amplified.
I think maybe some research would need to happen on that question there.
I wonder, I wonder how you could even tell. I mean, I wonder.
Well,
guess
I
I'll just have
wouldn't
to keep an eye on
recommend.
it. I'll
I
just have to
wouldn't
keep.
recommend testing the baby's midichlorian counts until after they're born.
No needles, thank you. She'll put her hand over her belly. Nope.
Good luck with Handyman on that.
Hmm.
She kind of grins at you because she knows.
Not in the abdomen. Not poking the baby. Well,
Okay.
if I get you be quiet. If I get the sudden urge to find myself on the outside of Gunir while we're still in space and dragging it along through sheer force of will, I'll know there's something. I know that something is different.
Uh-huh.
Okay then.
Hey,
How
what
about
can I say?
cravings? Do you have any
Oh.
weird cravings yet?
No, but apparently I'm having a grossly inflated sense of grandeur.
Sure, Juro would be highly amused to hear this.
He'd
Yep.
rather the grandeur be his, I'm sure, but
Well, so, okay, out of character, Mike just reminded me of something in a private message that I had missed. Mike, would you allow me to revise what I said?
What do you mean revised?
I mean, Tessara would likely have remembered that when I did not. So, so let me just tell everybody what I'm talking about. So when she met with the Sith dude in the caverns that gave her the data chip, he apparently told her that there was a tracker on the ship. And I missed that. I don't remember that at all. So, but Tessara would not have. So what I wanted to revise was that to tell them. Now, when I'm saying, can I erase or disregard what she said before about I wouldn't put it past them to put a tracker on the ship?
Well, the reason why I resist allowing that is solely because of the fact that there may be a reason, because Duro hasn't acted on that information, and divulging that may undermine Duro.
Okay. So if I don't bring it up here, can I retract what she said about the chip, about the tracker, and just not say anything at all?
No, because what she said would fit. She's supporting Duro's play without forcing his hand, and thus, going, I mean, the statement can be taken very neutral.
So in that case, you're not going to make me roll bluff.
You didn't lie.
Okie dokie. I'm officially letting it go. So, and Tessara sits back and she like wipes her face a little bit. I needed that laugh. So, back to the Queenie. I mean, really, all we can do is, tell Duro what you saw in your vision and let him make the decision. He is the captain, and he was the one who communicated with her during that time. I mean, you were there too, Astra, but he did most of the talking, if memory serves. And let him decide what he wants to do.
Makes sense.
If I were you, I would write down the entire vision, everything that you remember, because one thing that I've discovered is that if I don't write it down or commit it to memory somehow, I forget important parts. So that's what I would suggest.
That's probably a really good idea.
I wonder something. I wonder, your clone, the other Astra, her abilities are so intense. Like, she's got such clarity and I don't want to say power because you have power, but the way that her powers work seem really spot on, if you will. And now I'm beginning to wonder, she playing the queen? Because if she knows everything that's going to happen before it happens, she would be able to expertly guide the queen into believing whatever she wants her to believe.
Yes and no. The queen is really, really good at reading a person. It's so the other Astra would have to be incredibly crafty to lead the queen down a certain path.
Well, not for nothing, but she kind of did that with us. And to my opinion, she didn't do anything in any kind of negative or manipulative way necessarily, but she did manipulate us into doing what she wanted us to do. And we kind of went along with it.
Good point.
I mean, you'd like to think that you can see a manipulation happening, but that's not always true.
True. And for the record, her powers are spot on, probably because she's been practicing with them. I've only just started.
But the difference is her eyes glow when she does this. And she doesn't have to wait the same that we do to do a far seeing. She just does it. It's like it's strange because it just happens. It's almost like she doesn't even will it to happen. It's happening whether she asks it to or not. So I did observe that she can just literally, her eyes go this sort of bluish, beautiful, bluish color, and then she speaks what she sees. So something to keep in mind, Astra, is that there may come a time, if you practice enough with this, that you don't need to roll. I'm sorry, strike that word, that you don't need to wait to do your farsing. Just like, I mean, I would have to wait.
There's a possibility, but again, I haven't learned this ability. I've only used it successfully twice now with Master and the Queen. And I needed their help to control it.
Oh, I absolutely agree. It's not going to happen overnight, hon. That's just not how the world works. But it is something to keep in mind for the future when you learn how to control this better.
True.
Haj, what are you doing? Sit down.
What?
You are pregnant. Sit down. She gets up from the chair. I'm not going to abandon the post. I'm just saying.
Stop. I'm only a little fine. Just go away. She's like slapping at your hands and like trying to beg you off.
She waggles her fingers at you and goes, "You want to sit down. You have an urge to sit down. The baby is saying, sit down."
You want to take that finger out of my face? Someone's going to be you on the outside of the Gunir.
She jumps around and starts laughing. She says, "Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, pregnant one." God, this is so much fun.
Beyond words. How did you just beyond words? And she's not sure who she wants to scowl at harder. The monkey who's jumping around or the one who's giggling and throwing rocks?
I mean, Tessara is cackling at this point. She is having so much fun.
Hey, you're lucky. You have all of us here for you.
You know, I did use this ability like when I was trying to find water when we were in the caverns. So I snuck out to the warehouse. I'm sorry, the hangar bay, whatever the hell it was. And there was a guy there, and I was like, "You just want to go to sleep," and it did. It was amazing. He just laid right down and started, sleeping away. I was like, "Oh my god, I could abuse this."
Why did you put him to sleep? Just because you could?
Oh no, I just didn't want him to hear me, trying to find the water and getting the water into the tunnel, and it was just easier to put him to sleep so he didn't hear me. I didn't want him to alert anyone. I didn't want him to get scared of me. So sleep.
I seem to remember you tried that on me once before, and she looks at Astra and went, "There was something you and yours about a rabbit? You think I was going to fall for it then? What makes you think I'm going to fall for it now?"
I don't think we'd ever actually do that to you. It's hilarious to think about, but
No, we did actually attempt to use Effect Mind on her. When we were doing that one sparring match, remember? It turned into a game of cat and mouse.
oh
Yep.
gosh, I forgot that. Good memory.
And then there was that
Oops.
whole, yeah, I'll give you oops. outside of the Gunyer right now. We'll give you plenty of oops.
And the chair is still open. She's sort of wiggling her arm towards you to get you to sit down.
Yeah, and
More
she's
to
still
see what she would do.
Sorry.
What was that?
Spasm! Spasm!
Moth. Ow. I think I
What
broke
did you do?
Apparently, Hodge got attacked by a space moth.
Oh my god. That hurts. Okay, I'm sorry.
I can hear her shouting, but I can't hear her through the Discord. Lily, darling, we can't hear you.
I know I turned my mic off. I didn't think you wanted what that language was on the open mic. Sorry.
Right, we're recording. Okay, sorry about that.
Yes, the whole recording and the things I was saying were 4-letter no's.
So Tessara is sort of wiggling her arm towards you to get to, to push you into the chair.
And she's swatting you. I'm gonna do that again. She's swatting you away and swatting you away. 5 weeks. 5 weeks. I can still do the tumbling routine in the morning. Get off of me. When I can't get around the crate, let alone over it, then you can tell me to sit down. Until then, you'll have to catch me to the top.
Oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. She looks over at Astra. Oh, we're gonna have so much fun.
She looks around on Astra. I don't even want out of you. You've been here.
Yeah, and you're lucky. Would
How
you
do you
like to
figure?
know why? Because you
Oh,
have all
Is
of us
not
that
the
love you
totality of the
surrounding you.
souls make.
I pretty much went through my pregnancy, particularly the last part of it, essentially alone.
So Tessara jumps over to Astra and like pulls her into great big huge hug.
What?
Hodge takes
Why
a
are you
step
hugging me?
back.
What? Hold on, wait, what?
Tessara grabs you into the hug.
What's
You seem to be You seem to be laboring under the impression that the only person I'm going to torture is Haj. She hasn't let go, by the way.
She'll hug Tessara and then look at Hodge and go, "Why did you step back? Are you okay?"
Didn't want to get into Sarah's way. She was a woman on a mission.
That won't be my only mission. She looks back at Astra, and she does let you go. She says, "No more being alone, okay?"
Of course. But anyways, you have people who love you surrounding you. So when your pregnancy gets hard, remember that.
We're assuming my pregnancy is going to get hard. Is that true of all pregnancies?
She looks at her with like wide eyes. Yeah, babe. Yeah. Like, you're going to get to the point where you're going to get so frustrated that you can't see your own toes, and we'll have to be rubbing your feet and calming you and giving you lots of chocolates and,
The eyebrow just keeps getting higher and higher and higher.
And her Tessara's grin also continues to get bigger and bigger.
I mean, she's not wrong. You get to a point where it's just like, I want the kid here already. Has 9 months passed yet?
Well, you're also assuming that I have a gestation period of 9 months.
Now it's Tessara's turn to look stunned. Oh, there's got to be a book in the library on this one.
I know, right? We should go look that up.
Probably next to his Dathomir, his Night Sister romances.
Blech. Anyway, you guys go check that out. I'm going to stay on the bridge.
There could also be something in that library, the medical library that Duro gave me.
I don't know. That one's probably more for your species than mine.
It was kept by the Jedi, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, also,
Possible.
not for nothing, but Handyman has like the pulse on everybody, so don't worry too much.
Wait, what? Handyman has what?
He's like the medical droid, so he has a beat on what's happening with us physically.
You gonna elaborate on that?
No, it sounds like something Handyman would do. Come on, let's go ahead, Sarah.
She imitates Handyman's voice and goes, "It's in my protocols." Me and my smoking jacket.
God, it's below. All right.
We're hilarious.
On that, she's gonna link arms with Astra and escort her off the bridge. We'll catch you later, Tessara.
Bye.
You're gonna leave me? Okay.
You'll be fine, I promise. If not, find the chair. I'm sure it's lovely.
Nice one.
She'll get Astra outside of, like, as they're walking down the hallway, and she'll look around, and she's looking for droids, and she's looking for cameras. And she knows the cameras don't record audio, which I'm eternally grateful. And she says to Astra, "Did you not hear in the debrief when Tessara said that Handyman is monitoring all of our vital signs?"
When did that happen? Was I navigating at that time? Because I don't remember.
You were, but we did a debrief, and during that time, we were informed that during while you were navigating about a week ago, there was an electrical anomaly, and it was investigated and determined that in the science bay, there were on the walls that were directly linked to members of the party, or so the assumption was made, and that they potentially are monitoring our life signs, likely through the EDC or some other tracking device that they have implanted in our systems done the just in case.
I either missed or forgot that part.
That was what she was reminding us of.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think I'm going to forget that on purpose again because I don't want to know.
Fair enough. Do you want to know the library, or do you want to know what was the other location they wanted? Oh, your medical books.
Which would you like to try first?
You do your medical books, I'll hit the library.
Okay.
Did Traveler fall asleep?
No.
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to research something.
He's probably over our girly silliness.
No, I'm here.
Although I enjoyed that
Am
thoroughly.
I
That
am
was fun.
speaking.
Yes, you are
Yes,
speaking.
you're speaking. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I was sorry. I was trying to answer something. So, what are we looking for in the medical examination? I mean, in the library?
Well, we're in two different. We're each in one location. It's the same information.
Okay.
Looking up uh, Dathomiri obstetrician, pregnancy and gestationary periods. What to expect when you're expecting Dathomiri?
There are several. How should I say this? There are several.
Anatomically correct?
Yeah, there are several books on pregnancies of multi species, including Dathomiri.
In the professor's library or in the medical journals that were given to Astra from the Jedi by Doro?
Well, the medical wait, where? What medical journals, Astra? Are we
Just
pulling?
The,
3
the
crates.
medical books. She has multiple medical books given to her by Duro.
Medical books by Duro.
Duro didn't write them. He gave them to her.
She's
He
got
got them at the camp on Backlid.
like 3 huge crates or 4 huge
Oh,
crates
yeah.
full of
Okay,
books.
okay. Now I know. But no, these do not cover pregnancies.
But the books in the library do?
The books in the library do.
She's on her off time. She'll grab a couple of books on what to expect when you're expecting for Dathomiri women and go up and start reading.
Okay. So as you guys, you guys are reading. Life on the Gungnir is continuing. Everything is unfolding in its normal routines. What I want to do is I want to kind of jump forward a month after Duro makes an amazing discovery with the compass and the Gungnir. He wasn't. I understand that he's been kind of worn out today, so I'm gonna give him a pass on this one here. It is something that he said he wanted to research and explore using the compass and the navigation system of the Gungnir. He can link the two together, and there won't be a need for a navigator. The compass can see the gravitational anomalies and plot courses as they develop, which makes traveling through the chaos a lot faster. It takes the 2 month or the well over 2.5 months to reach Priloc, and it reduces it down by about 3 weeks. So we're going to be skipping time roughly about 3 weeks for the Gungnir to arrive at Priloc. Are there questions? I'll take that as a no. There is a ship in orbit.
Oh, joy.
Recognizable markings.
Even better. You can see it.
And
There are a number of smaller craft on the surface. It looks a little beaten up, but it's definitely functioning. Functional. It does not appear to be a ship belonging to any standard military. And you guys are hailed.
How and who is on the bridge when that happens?
We'll say it's shift change. Duro is off. Astra is getting ready to come on, and we'll say it's Hodge, Astra, Tassara on the bridge when this event happens.
I'm going to guess that Gunir is on the bridge and Shuri is not. Correct or no?
Now we can keep Churi on the bridge.
That poor girl needs a break.
I know, right?
She doesn't have a life.
She does indeed.
Wow.
So
She's a Padawan. She for sure does.
here is the message you guys receive. Travelers, welcome. We got here first, but there's plenty of slaves to go around. No sense in us pissing over a fresh new watering hole.
I'm sorry, what?
Mhm.
Okay, Astra is angry right now?
Not as angry as Tassara. Tassara's lost her ability to
To communicate.
language. to language.
We're going to end the game there.
Dude, she's
think
gonna
that's a
bold
good
that
idea.
shit next.
That is adorable. I like that.
Sometimes.
Feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Sometimes I punch them.
So I know Duro and you want to do the tracker as an in-between.
No, I said
Or in the game. I'm sorry, in the game. What freaking planet did they come out on? Was it Priloc proper?
What do you mean?
I mean, when they encountered that ship, I'm assuming they're hovering in orbit over a planet. They're in orbit over Priloc.
Yep. They're
What
in.
is the?
Go ahead.
I want the manpower complement, the gun complement. Not only how many, but what kinds. I want to know how many ships are on top of that. They were resting on top of that mess. I want to know length, width, depth, meters, manpower, gunpower.
No, you're not going
Fire.
to know manpower.
I want to know. This is what I want to know.
Oh.
Oh, look, San Diego Comic-Con. I want to know if there's a secondary hangar bay. I want to know if there's a tertiary hangar bay. I want to know if we can see inside anything. I want to know if we can scan it without getting caught. I want to know what the result of that scan is.
Well,
did I miss anything, Amy?
I'm going to tell you, you have 2 pictures of this ship.
Yeah.
You can see as plainly as anybody else.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the player knows what they are looking at. The character would.
Bing, 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 bing.
Why would the character know anything more than the player would?
Because the player can't differentiate between an exhaust valve and a gun turret.
Then chances are the character who hasn't been a deck officer for more than a month probably wouldn't know that either.
Then we'll ask Handyman and Gungnir to give us this information.
So here's what I want you guys to do. First, come up with your own assumptions instead of relying on the NPCs. Try to figure it out on your own based off the images you have. Now, sensors aren't that good that you're going to be able to say, oh, there's, X number of people on the ship. All you know is there are people on the ship. There are also about 30 smaller craft on the ground or in, operating in atmosphere. They are currently operating in an area roughly the size of Texas, so they're kind of spread out. It's good for you.
Yep. Means we can fire from here and get them while the other ones aren't looking the other direction.
Are we sure firing is going to be the best option right out the gate?
I don't know. If Tessara can't find her vowels, we may not have we may not have a choice. Snarf for the win.
Yeah, I did notice that she's not using very many vowels.
Right?
So many things inside my head because we're still recording.
Shall I turn off the recording?
Yes, you should.
Okay.